More and more people, thanks to the pandemic, are working from home. And when you work from home, technically you are working at your office or living at your office. It's complicated. And some legal situations can also be complicated coming from that. So there was a worker in Germany who recently won a legal victory in an interesting case. So the incident that happened was that a man slipped on the stairs and hurt himself while walking to his home office from his bedroom. It was deemed a workplace accident by a German court. The man had injured his spine while making his way towards his workstation at home and was entitled to compensation according to the Federal Social Court of Germany just earlier this week. The court arrived at this conclusion because it said the man was, quote, on his way to work from his bedroom to the home office one floor below, and pointed out that this was a commute along an insured work route. Now, the company's insurance had initially refused to cover the claim, but now they will actually have to. So Brett, what do you think about this? The guy is going to receive some restitution after falling down the stairs or hurting himself on the stairs.
This is the difference between America and Europe in terms of workers' rights. So you'll hear when you talk to your conservative friends, they say America is the only country that really allows you to start a business, and starting a business is terrible and horrible and no good in other countries, and you can't fire anyone in those countries. Now, the labor movement started in America. The first ever recorded strike was in New York when Taylor said, I don't want to go to work because you're not paying me and treating me normal. Ever since then, Europe's been like, all right, good idea, let's keep doing that. And America's and I think the ultimate in that is this walk down the stairs where the guy falls and he wins his settlement. Now, I don't feel that's just me describing people's opinions about it. For me, I think it's absolutely ridiculous on face value. And I think that's why it's such a terribly amazing story from like a clickbait perspective. But once you get into the details of it, you realize, no, he had to walk on that route. If he was driving to work, ostensibly the overall liability that if it's the case that a insured work route is protected under his insurance, and that involves driving in a normal situation, that would be arguably way more dangerous than just walking down the stairs. So overall, these insurance companies have less susceptibility to a giant lawsuit because people aren't driving to their jobs every day where they're in the most dangerous situation.
Yes. So overall, obviously, I am glad that there are places in the world where workers occasionally win one. Yeah. Other than at Starbucks, which is great news. So we'll talk about that slightly a little bit more later on. Look, I'm glad that the guy's getting it, but it does seem a little bit weird. And the reason is, and I'm not a lawyer, as everybody knows that. I'm not Adrian Lawrence, as has been noted many times. To me, the reason that you can and should be able to sue a company for injuries you suffer is obligation. And I know what they're saying is that he's obligated to walk down the stairs to his workstation because of work, but presumably he would be doing that anyway. Like, if you slip and fall at work, I think the reason you should be compensated is because you're not in charge of that place and that floor. They need to make sure that it is safe and reasonably safe. That's why we have regulations. But they don't have any control over what you've done to your stairs, or whether you've put stuff on the stairs, or whether the carpet is grippy enough. So it seems to me as if they don't have the ability to influence the environment in the same way. Like, that doesn't apply to everything. Like, carpal tunnel is just as predictable at home as it is at work, but they don't manage your stairs.
But that's not the mechanism at work in the precedent cited in this argument. The precedent
and
cited,
as I said, I'm not a lawyer. I get that. I'm saying
no,
as a
and I'm not
general
either.
Principle, it seems weird.
But what you're saying is a workplace safety issue. This is not a workplace safety issue. This is an insured work route issue. So what I learned from the context clues is not that the conditions in the workplace were unsafe. And that, I agree, that is a Pandora's box of now my OSHA, my house needs to be OSHA compliant at this point, which it is not, my friend. The sex dungeon alone would make all of, like, There we go. I don't feel the need to finish that sentence because I can't focus after it because it is perilous, my friend. And the safety word is 50 Shades of Gray zone. Anyways.
And what if you were to fall and hurt yourself in there? Your wife might not be able to help you because she's not even allowed in that room.
Right, because that's the point. It's my sex dungeon. Anyways, that's beside the point. The Pandora's box that already seems to be opened is that German companies are going to pay for your accident if you're driving to work. Something they don't have control over the roads. Now, maybe the counter argument would be
weird too.
There are safety protocols at all in place, like laws of driving, like stoplights work in Germany and pretty much like 4 other countries. The rest of it, they're more guidelines. But all of that doesn't necessarily exist in the home. There would probably be and that argument could be interesting to watch unfold, but apparently those are all the facts of the case that I as a lawyer.
Okay. And look, I'm glad for the guy. It wouldn't have been what my immediate thought as a non-lawyer would have been. But you know what? I think we've erred on one side of the spectrum, the relationship between the federal government, the judiciary system, and corporations versus the workers for a very long time. I don't think potentially risking erring like on the other side for a bit is the worst thing ever. So I continue to think there's a lot we can learn from these other countries, including Germany. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.